So I've also been asked about money. Money is something the Bible talks about frequently. Jesus talked about money quite a bit. In fact, he may have talked about money more than he talked about heaven. So it's kind of interesting to notice that because of the import of Jesus' teaching about money. Having money, being wealthy, and enjoying it to some extent is not condemned in the Bible. Rather, what the Bible focuses on related to money is how was it obtained, what it's used for, and what your heart attitude is about it. So Jesus' whole emphasis was not to set your heart on these kinds of treasures that end up being basically a new idol that the Lord is replaced with. So money is a source of a lot of evils, just like it says in the book of James. And that is something that the Lord evaluates, is what you do with your riches. Now, if you are wealthy or well off, and there are many people in the West, especially in the U.S., that we are wealthy compared to most people throughout history. Most people throughout history have been poor. But there are notable wealthy individuals in the scriptures. There's Abraham, who was very wealthy, and God blessed him with great wealth. He blessed Solomon with great wealth. And even in the New Testament, there are wealthy people. Many of the wealthy people that supported the Apostle Paul and the other apostles in their ministries were wealthy women. Some of them are named. Lydia is one of them. There are others. But also, just note that at Jesus' death, it's a wealthy man, Joseph of Arimathea, who could afford to have a new tomb made, and then he decided to put the body of Jesus in that tomb, from which Jesus would rise again. But it was just a few days' stay. But God uses wealthy people. If they're submissive to God with their wealth as well as their lives, wealth is an acceptable thing. But if you set your heart on it, then it becomes an idol in the place of God, and God does condemn that and judge that. In James, we have that kind of a statement about the wealthy who are abusing people to get it, and then they abuse their wealth with what they do with it. And we have plenty of examples of that today, who have gotten their wealth through questionable means, and then that they also use their wealth for questionable purposes. So often to just indulge whatever their sinful desires are, and they abuse and use people to accomplish that. And God does condemn that. In I think it's in 1 Timothy 6, there's one area, and then James mentions that, and then in Matthew 6:19 to 34, Jesus talks about wealth and being worried about it, and that we should be setting our sights on God and His purposes, and fulfill His purposes in our lives. Use what wealth we may obtain to honor Him. Enjoy what we can in this life, because that honors God too. But don't let it become your new God in place of the true God. So submit your wealth to the Lord, and then money can be used for His honor and glory. So I hope that kind of balances it out for you and for me, because we all can use more money, but a lot of it has to do with how we get it and what we use it for, and then what we set our heart on. Do we set our heart on the wealth or depend on the wealth, when we should be setting our heart on the Lord and depending on Him? Matthew 6 compares that to the flowers of the field that They are beautiful. They're utterly dependent on God's ways of the natural world. And we should be dependent on the Lord for our lives as well and not worry about it, but trust Him, whether wealthy or not. I hope that helps. God bless you.